耶，我是 Leo， 这是沈阳张。对，那我们今天来到，听说是悉尼
比较危险的一个地方，
对，叫做 King Cross。
这是以前是红灯区，听说。
哦，真的吗？
真的，而且这个区里发生过一些恶性事件，比如说有一个人喝完酒晚上走路回来之后，一拳打在另外一个人的脸上，把人打死的。
哇！然
后之后整个悉尼因为这件事情就有宵禁了。
哇，
所以说现在也是一个红灯区，这以前都是酒吧呀，还有 hookers 啊，有很多。
哇！那你目前来到悉尼有什么感想？
来到悉尼，感觉还是一个很包容的城市，并不是像大家说的那样。但是这就是有些 homeless 的东西。整体来讲的话，我觉得我适应的还挺好，还是很不错的，
挺不错。那我自己觉得这边就是很多元文化，就是很多种族，让我觉得哇哦，就是惊讶了一下。
你们青旅里面是不是也有很多来这边不同的种族来这边
打工的？
哦，这是 girl bar， 你进去和店长打招呼。
I want to see some maybe dangerous part about Sydney, so
you recommend? Go to Cabramatta, where all the gangs are.
Oh really?
Yeah, like all the Vietnamese gangs are there. Here is not dangerous.
Oh really? King Cross?
You have crazy people who like fried their brains on drugs, who yell randomly on the street, but they're not scary. They're just like startling.
But we still don't want to put us in danger, so.
Yeah, there's not really much danger here. It's like back in 2010 was like the peak. In 2013, the government like shut everything down, and this area became a ghost town. They like almost every business, almost every bar and nightclub was like forced to shut. So it was like COVID before COVID, like all the shops empty, nothing, like a ghost town. And since COVID ended, the rebuilding and new business owners like us coming in and trying to rebuild it, but it's very gentrified. Because from 2013 to 2023, big developers came in and started building lots of apartments. So now it's like a suburb that's just close to the city. Yeah. Well, it's a very, very safe place now.
No, I just heard about like there's people. How should I say that? There's people who got punched in the face and died instantly.
Yeah, that happened in 2012 or 2013. That's what the government used to instigate the lockout laws, which made every bar close at 1:30, and before everything used to be 24 hours a day here in this area.
And I heard there's a curfew also.
That was in 2013. That's been lifted, but the government doesn't give venues 24-hour liquor license anymore. So everyone either shuts down at 12 like us, or at 1:30, or at 3. Depends on the kind of license they have. Yeah, that was ages ago. Yeah, it was ages ago, and what was happening was the government wanted to make deals with developers to build high-rise apartments and gentrify this area, because this area was think like Las Vegas. It was like a small version of the Las Vegas Strip, this area.
Gambling here?
Illegally, behind closed doors, behind lots of clubs, because most of the bars and clubs were owned by gang members back then. It's not like that now. All those people have been rooted out. They're gone. The government wanted to change they wanted to gentrify it. They wanted to make it like a rich neighborhood, and that's what they've done. And so the lockout laws, they used that kid getting punched outside of a venue, which really had nothing to do with alcohol. They made it all about alcohol. It had to do with gang members on drugs being dickhead. He was 18. He was on his birthday celebration.
So he got
like coward punched in the back of the head, and he died in Austin. First night out drinking legally. It was very tragic. What happened to that kid and his family was really, really tragic. But the government used it politically to make changes that they wanted to. It really had nothing to do with alcohol. They made it all about alcohol fueling violence, which is alcohol fuels violence if you have a drinking problem or if you're already on drugs. Not just alcohol. That's true. We know his father is very, very wealthy and paid the government a lot of money to make political changes here. So what you're going to find in the cross now is not a lot of danger, but you're going to find a lot of history. There's a lot of rich and very colorful history. The ugly parts are from like the mid 80s to before that, just beautiful, rich history. Like a lot of the gay rights activations started here in this area.
Started here?
A lot of them started here because the cross from the 30s until the mid-80s was a safe haven for anybody who didn't fit the traditional norms of society. So that meant if you were a cross-dresser, you could find a safe haven here. It was a place where even the people that lived here, it was like live and let live. Everyone coexists in peace together. You do whatever you want, I do whatever I want. We might have opposite schedules, different times of the day and night that we all operate, but when we see each other on the street, we're pleasant and friendly to each other. That's what the cross was. It was a bohemian melting pot. It's where immigrants came when they first moved here. Like all of like the European immigration, Italians, and even some of the Latinos. Like everybody came to the cross first. It started with the Navy in the like 40s, 50s. The U.S. Navy was working with Australia, and the ports just up. If you just go that way far enough, you hit the water, and the Navy port base is just there. It started with that, and that's what really started to bring in like the red light district and all of that stuff. But it was this melting pot of everything, everything like that was traditionally taboo, but it was controlled. There was control to the chaos, and there was peace and like living in harmony side by side with people that you wouldn't have dinner with. You know what I mean? And then the Lebanese gangs kind of took over from the older school Greek organized crime that was in place before that. And then like from like the 80s to the 90s, things started to get very dangerous. And by the early 2000s, they kept most of it hidden behind closed doors, but it was spilling out into the streets and laneways, and people would get knifed and shot up. Like it was very dangerous then. The history before that, the history before the mid-80s, is beautiful and rich, and like there's a hotel called the Roosevelt. Now they have only like if you go up Darlinghurst Road, down Maclay Street, up to almost to Victoria Street. It's somewhere over there. It's called the Roosevelt. It used to Roosevelt. That now today it operates under like a restaurant bar license. It's just one level. They do nice cocktails. The interior is very classy, and it's a restaurant as well. But back in the 30s, that building was all the Roosevelt. It was a 3-story building. Inside, you had like 3 levels open to the top level, verandas on the inside that wrapped around the 2nd level and the 3rd level, and they used to have like showgirls, like aerial acrobatics that like swung through the open spaces. They used to put on like, familiar with the term like a grand ball?
Grand ball.
Like a ball, like a big party where people get, think like a masquerade party, times 5. People get dressed up in like elaborate, like it was where the rich and wealthy, the famous, the who's who from around the world would come to these things. They used to have stuff like that in the 30s here in the Cross. The Roosevelt was one of the hotels that had stuff like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of like beautiful, really rich history.
哦，就是 strip club。
它是一个餐厅但是它还是有一点 exotic 那种东西。
哇！
现在只是个餐厅。It's actually just me getting involved in like